good to go.
All right. Welcome to the 2024 first meeting of the Conservation District, and see everybody here. And let's see, I will speak to a motion for approval of minutes from December 5th. If you've read them and found any discrepancies, please let me know. Anybody?
I'll move we approve the minutes.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second. Then we can.
That's all right. We just started
No,
already.
I'm going to run the first part of the election of officers. There it is. Okay.
All in favor of approving the minutes?
Okay, the next thing on the agenda is the election of officer for 2024. That's your nominations for chairman of the Conservation District.
Nominate Cheryl's will.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any further nominations? Hearing
Motion to
none.
close the nominations.
Motions to close nominations been made. Second,
Second.
seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Hearing none, the ayes have it.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Congratulations.
Next up, we have to announce that we were appointed.
Yeah, just so everybody knows that the county council did reappoint Cheryl, Steve Linville, and also Elaine to our board.
Yeah, we're gonna be fighting. I won.
I thought maybe it hurt your arm.
No, I'm just carrying. Speed and height.
Oh, good. Maybe that's something. Yeah, some of there's puddles on the side of the road. Alrighty, so thanks for that information, Ed. Thank you for voting for me. Next up, our audience comments. Did we hear from anybody who's interested in representing?
Vice Chairman and Secretary Treasurer.
Okay, the vice chairman.
I'll nominate Randy Octavucci.
Okay, please hold on a second. All in favor? Yes.
Aye.
Okay, and secretary treasurer?
I mean,
I don't know.
Randy.
Randy, oh,
I
Randy.
nominate Randy.
Oh, there he is.
Second.
Yes. All in favor of Randy?
Aye.
Aye.
For you.
Randy,
Aye.
time you again. You won another election.
It might be the leader.
Yeah, but
Exactly. Thank you. All righty, so now we have a new slate of officers, old slate new. And thanks for reminding me, I was ready to move along. I got it. Now, do we have any audience comments? Do we hear from anybody?
We have not received any emails after the minutes our agenda was posted on the website on last Friday. No small comment. There's Bill Brain. Memory of the-
Say something about what we did or what we're doing. That would be nice. Oh, well, I do this. Okay, so now I'm going to call the meeting to order. And anything exciting? I didn't really see anything for us in the PAC map that you're talking about. Not a keen eye on that one, so.
No, but I just want to let the board know, and I don't know that from anywhere else, is that PACD has gotten a little bit of hot water with the state in the fact that they have grants that they administer, at least 3 of them with Growing Greener. And they have, for the last 6 months, they've been turning in expense reports that have been denied for certain administrative costs that should not be charged, so. We hear different things, we're trying to figure it out exactly what's going on, but it might be like $600,000.
Whoa.
So, don't know what's going on, but we're having meetings, luckily, Piper Sherboard, who is our regional director with PACD, has been monitoring for us, and, she's not happy with the situation. She's been trying to get information for quite some time, and wasn't been able to. So we're trying to meet to see where we're going. One of their proposals was instantly to raise dues, and someone estimated that it would raise it like $6,000. So I don't think that is going to fly, so I don't think where we're gonna go with that. But it's something that they were doing for years. So hopefully that they won't go back in time. They just start denying. They go back in time, I don't know what would happen. Completely. But we did meet with representatives of DEP. They came in and talked to us on a virtual call. And I'm convinced that there's nothing, it's not like it was predatory. In other words, the state association didn't do something to the state that DEP wanted, and they being facetious
Right.
and are attacking them. I don't get that impression. It was just the new guy came in, he's following the rules and the regulations from the grant, and then the ACD, whoever agreement they had prior is not according to the whole. So they're going to stick to the grant agreement, and till we hear anything more, but it doesn't look good right now.
Yeah.
So I will keep you posted for as long as I can. But it's interesting. So that's the first bit of news. We haven't had any problem with PHED. The grants that they are doing, they used to be when we fought them the last time, 2 directors ago, they were competing with conservation districts. That's not the case. These grants that they're doing are benefiting conservation districts. So they're very good grants. It's just the idea that they're not doing anything proper with that. The only thing that was improper was charging administrative costs that they weren't eligible. So they succeeded the administrative grant cost. So we'll know more in a while. There's a possibility that those grants come directly to conservation districts now, as opposed to going through PACD. That's what Carl DeLuca, who is I don't know exact title, Carl, but he is the one that proposing that up the line to try to see how we can do it more.
We're not gonna take the money back.
No, there's nothing wrong with what's being done. It's just the administrative cost. So they're just not getting paid for it. So those were rejected. So they didn't get any. For the last 6 months, haven't gotten any money. That's put them in a hole because that's what they budgeted for. So we'll see.
More to be revealed, huh?
Yes.
All righty. Well, I will entertain a motion to file all bank statements for audit for one, the affiliate money market. And.
You can do them all at once. Yeah.
I'll make that motion to file bank statements.
Excellent.
Second.
Thank you. All righty. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Emergency reviews, motion to approve for deposit the following emergency review fees. Alana Bank Golf Club.
Pool relocation, there's 2 different projects going on. The pool relocation project, and I think a racket call center being proposed. That hasn't been issued yet. I think it's still under technical review. I just being complete like last month.
What happens with emergency reviews is they go through the administrative process. Everybody else, and once it goes through the administrative process, then we kick in the emergency process. So nobody gets stepped out of line.
Alrighty, all in favor of this, I it's making your phone, I'm sorry.
I'll move that we move the emergency review.
With your second. All in favor?
Aye.
Yes.
Aye.
Next up is a motion request to pay Buchler, Kelly, and Irwin for bookkeeping services. I think we should pay them, so I'll make the motion. Second.
Yeah, the dates are a little weird and that's my fault. I want to make sure that we have an agreement that we pay $2,100 to $2,200 a year. And sometimes the way they were billing before, I was getting bills into the next year. So now they bill it, so it should work out the right way.
You're setting the standard now.
Right, so that's the way they've been doing it. So we shouldn't have any more bill, in any one year of our calendar year, the bill should be $2,200.
Okay, good. All in favor, we do that, then? Yeah. All right, next motion request to pay KDI for scanning and electronics permitting project. $19,094.68 on the affiliate money market account. Make motions.
Yes, this project came, the first phase is now complete with all the scanning of the 144 boxes of permits have been scanned into the system, and we worked with them and organized them a little bit. It came in under budget because we had the cost took less time than they thought, so that's good. We still have to do phase 2, which is the spring. We already have the money on hand, so that when the conservation district fund allocation program, so that's okay. So we're good there. The only thing that we're waiting for is the permit and electronic submission process. We had a problem when we first kicked it open to test it out. The form wouldn't allow them to submit files over 20 megs. And most of the files aren't getting over 20 meg. So their DocuWare is actually making a revision in February to allow larger file sizes. He has an alternative, but you can't do that, to put it into an TP site and then dump it into our DocuWare. But hopefully we can do it directly. So that's being worked on. He's also working on some of the reports and working on a couple issues that Michelle and I have given to him to work on. This is the main copy. He's usually pretty fast, but he has been these last few things to get it up and running, taking a longer time than.
It's too more than you think.
Yeah, but I'm still happy with the services they provided. Like I said, we didn't go over, it was actually under budget, but the scanning was from the estimate. So we're in good shape there. We just got to get this electronic submission thing working. I'm pretty sure that February will be the time frame where they will have it done.
Right, you certainly worked hard on laying the groundwork. That's good, thank you. Okay, motion for that one,
Make a motion to pay KDI.
thanks.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Now we're moving on to old business.
Yeah, I think we can skip over the scanning because we just sort of it sort of overlap with the motion request.
Okay, next, the big question, replacement process for conservation district manager.
Elaine, would you like to address that?
Drum roll, please. After much searching far and wide around the land, we have found a new conservation district manager, and that is Karen Block.
Excellent. Congratulations.
Thank you. Congratulations. Thank you. I'm very excited. Give it a lot of thought and consideration, as they know.
She really did.
So I'm very excited
Excellent.
to go into this one.
And it's gonna be around the wild day.
Yes.
Hold your hand, that's.
We're going to, I pose something in the agenda later to talk about how, if that could be a possibility.
Okay. But we're hoping so.
Well, we'd like to schedule probably an executive session before the next meeting, so we can talk about these things out of the public eye and then so everybody knows it's a personnel issue and determine how you'd like to proceed, and then we'll put them into the agenda at the meeting. So if it's possible, what I'd like to do is schedule an executive session. I talked with Karen that we don't have a low volume road program meeting for next month. So we could meet like at 2:30 rather than 3:30 and sort of go over the executive session issues and move forward to the meeting.
That would be February 6th, right?
February 6th, yeah, I'm sorry. But, I have proposed to Elaine and to Francine that I would be willing to work up to $25,000 part-time, and some of that may even be remotely once we get the electronic plan submission thing. Is basically, the biggest issue is going to do the plan reviews until other issues get addressed on how we're going to meet that workload. And how Karen's gonna deal with what moving forward. So on the plan reviews, because we're even a little backlog as it is now. So they don't stop coming in, which is a good thing. So for the economy, but it is a tough thing, and it don't make it any easier, the regulations. So that's what we'll talk about at the executive session. Proposal to address that issue, but I put it in an offer to stay on part-time.
Thank you. It would make things easier. Everybody, and revolve everybody else. Well, I guess now we have to look for a new watershed person.
I think I have a good idea of the job and can help them along.
Right, you guys will, make all connections and we can make a couple of them. This is good. So this is, thanks for agreeing to do this. Thanks for organizing this meeting, and, off we go.
Well, Francine is really good.
Oh,
That's
Francine.
the-
And we got Francine here this week too.
Yes, I'm going to be here more often, to support Karen. Ed is amazing. He's been here for many years and has mastered the conservation district work. And so, I'm going to try and support Karen any way I can, meeting weekly with you and, just trying to help support you in any way that's necessary. I'm really grateful that you were so careful in the way you thought about this position, and you had a lot of questions. And you didn't just accept it like that. You really were calculated and careful. So just so everyone knows that Karen is really, I believe she's the best candidate, and I know she will be successful.
Thank you. Very nice, what you can do. Alrighty. So now we're already on to new business, moving right along. The financial entries, everybody take your little financial entries. If we're with you,
Yes,
they're
there we go.
down.
Right next to the packet.
Get right next to.
Yeah, right in front of
Right
there.
Yeah, every director is required to fill one of those out. You can stick them in a brown envelope and seal them up, and we just put them in the file, and we do not open them up and look at them unless there you get a request from the public.
Oh, wait, I think I have 2 copies of some of them.
The directors that aren't here today, Gina will mail them out today.
Where's Gina today?
Gina is off with a sick child today.
I bet she's disappointed.
Sickness is terrible because you don't know if it's the dreaded COVID, one to spread like wildfire. So the lunch, GB Hoopman's son, it went through, COVID went through their whole office and they were shut down for a week.
And right after I go to my legal one girl. Talk to there. What's the infection? But
Right after the meeting, where I sat there going, okay, 1, 2, 3, okay, I'm good.
I called Gina and
Yes, you
said, I'm a little concerned. Nevertheless.
But I still haven't gotten it.
Oh, wow.
Tried colors.
You're the one? You're the one?
My wife hasn't gotten it either. So. Now, all my kids and all my grandkids have had it. So.
Yeah. Yeah, perfect.
Or I got it and didn't know it.
Right. My
But I
husband
had
got
it.
it, and he said it just felt like a bad cold. You got it right after me, something like that, I got. Alrighty. And the statements of financial, and those who are not here will be joining us. The Conservation District poster contest. So, here we go.
Okay, so, for the 2024, the theme is May the forest be with you always. So, at least it has a little bit more of a,
Current.
current theme than, some past ones. So that, I think that we'll get some good submissions with that. I did just want to highlight though, so the past, 2 years prior, they added a digital contest for the older grades. Our district was the only one who participated statewide. So I think that was good. But then this year, the national competition and therefore the state competition is adding 2 additional divisions. And they are the Braille poster contest and the additional assist poster contest. So while usually the posters should be the original artwork of the student, this allows students who will need additional help to obtain that, and they will have a special category. So with the 2 additional categories and the digital category in the older grades, that bumps up our cash prize by more than double.
Right.
So I just wanted to note that, and then taking into account the increase in postage and the increase in printing, the budget went up to approximately $3,300. So I just wanted to note that it was significantly increased. So we want to move forward in doing the contest or just doing certain categories. I just want to leave it up to the board, so.
So, Michelle has brought a question. Would someone like to make a motion or discuss this? Whether you continue with a week of poster contest? Anybody want to have a suggestion?
So is that budget, if nobody submits for the Braille or the additional assist, we wouldn't.
Who do you need?
Right. So in past years, like last year didn't have the greatest turnout. So we didn't award all the prize money that was budgeted to the contest. And I did allow some monies for an award ceremony. Now, the past 3 years, we have not had one. So just in case we want to change that, I allowed for that as well.
Excellent. Sounds like a good question. Do I hear a motion that we should do this?
I'll make that motion.
Well, second,
Already.
I think with this new theme, we're gonna get great submission.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, people are gonna more.
I just want to know how you're going to judge the Braille.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah, that is a good question. They said more information, so the state organizer said there's 2 categories, but we didn't receive any further information from NACD. So I just wanted to put them in there with more information forthcoming. So I'm gonna have to wait a little bit to advertise for it until I get that
People
information.
know what you're doing.
Right, yeah,
Excellent.
Always a way to do it.
yes, yeah,
Gotta know what it is.
exactly. And that we don't know yet.
Right, right. Well, all are in favor of this? Yes?
Thank you.
Okay. Next up, more new business.
Well, the new business, I jumped the gun and addressed it ahead of time, so both of those issues have been addressed.
You really streamlined it. We don't need to discuss these because you're.
Yes.
Okay, so next up, we have.
We are currently wrapping up our first round ranking and eligibility for our EQIP funding. We did receive an application from Delaware County. We always have applications, so
This is exciting.
that's an exciting thing. It's always nice to spread the funds out a little bit.
Yeah.
So yeah, and if anybody, you need anything, the call, technical assistance with engineers. Always.
So you're going to do this?
That's all.
Yes, no, the only thing that I have is that did reach out to Beth about two things. One is to have assistance from the Philadelphia Conservation NRCS office about doing some testing of Little Flower Manor garden area to see if it heavy metals or something. So that's it. At that one's, the parks has been a little bit delayed because there's no water where they want to do it. So that might, they're not as big a rush, but we can get that out of the way, the sooner the better. Come up with that. And the other thing is our two Ease Farms, we have a conservation plan updated. I don't know if anybody reached out to you. Well, we're going to try to do our farmland inspections this month. And remind them that they're overdue.
That is, just so I just, if any, Jayla is, in Philadelphia, he does the EXRF soil X-ray testing machine, he provides a so we can,
I-
get that.
It's not an industrial site, so I don't look for a job, but it's nice to have that clearance available in an urban area.
Look at a site, and we'll call it an urban garden, it's a neighborhood garden in Delaware County. And the lead levels were incredibly high, like much higher than the EPA had estimated, so. So even though it was not, it was just a yard, and it had, I think, always been a yard, but because it was so close to the buildings and everything, it was pretty contaminated, yeah, and, I think it was cadmium was really high too. So they had found, I think, some surprising levels of contamination on that site.
Well, it's a good thing to limit your liabilities before you start something.
Those nuns have been, we're up to.
Sorry, I do tell
Did this, community garden get that testing done when it started?
I don't know how many years it's been going on. It's been a long time.
They probably rework, so it's like that.
Yeah, but it was,
They're working through that constantly. But we could test.
A lot of sites bring the soil in, so even especially in the
Yes.
city, they bring it in and they're using it in containers, but, this particular site, she was growing in the ground, and when you have park sites like this, and highways too, so we do have, equipment available to do it, it's not safety testing, so it like gives you a guide of what you should be concerned with, but it's not signing off that it's not contaminated.
And what you could address.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Coming from the school district of Philadelphia, that was a common test that we did for all of our groundwork outside of schools. And typically there was contamination because of just I-95 being right there, all of the industry. A lot of dust inside people's homes has lead coming from the soil blowing around outside. It's just really sad. And that's why the hand washing and the cleaning is so important in the homes that are in those areas, center, city, urban environments. But it's great that you're testing.
Yeah,
Especially for
and related
food.
thing, you're talking about that. We are having at Clifton Heights Middle School with Upper Darby School District trying to build a middle school in Clifton Heights. They did their phase 2 environmental and found arsenic, so.
I'm not surprised.
But they're trying, their claim is that it's naturally occurring, so. So it could, it has been done that, so we have waste management looking at it to make that determination with them.
Interestingly. And that was his dad, so she's open. Okay, all right, sure, yeah.
I just have a couple quick things to mention. Just a reminder to update Conservation District team sheets by the end of January 31st. And that's just with new directors and terms. You guys mentioned the statement of financial interest, so I won't go into that, but just make sure that's completed no later than May 1st. Went over that last one. There is a new ACAP financial reporting tool live on the PSU Center for Ag Conservation Assistant Training website. And the link to the access is listed on page 4. And then, that's all I have. It's a very short one this month.
And that's the wrong 5 pages.
Yeah, very short.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alrighty, Next up, Ed.
Okay, if you don't mind, I'd like to use my time to read something I prepared here, a summary of my career here. I would like to take my time today to just highlight a few thoughts and review some big issues with work I worked on during my career with you guys. First, the Blue Route. $60 million in revisions were required to finalize that construction activity because of poor erosion control planning and implementation. I had to conduct over 150 inspections in just 1 year. The state issued its first stop work order ever against PennDOT for Chapter 102 violations. We had over 60 fill sites to dispose of excess material needed to permit that be permitted and approved. One was for the Township Line Quarry. It received over 500,000 cubic yards of Blue Route material to prevent further collapse of the quarry wall, which was endangering homes in Hartford Township. Agricultural land preservation. 2 farms were protected in Edgemont Township by buying development rights for $13,500 an acre in 1993. This involved over 120 acres being protected and with state money of $2,678,000. Eastern Delaware County Stormwater Collaborative was via a grant from the William Penn Foundation to the Southeastern PA Resource Conservation and Development Council, in which I was chairman. Karen Holm, formerly of the Delaware County Planning Department, and I spearheaded this project, which we were able to pull together 6 municipalities to cooperate in stormwater management in and around 2012. The collaborative has expanded and it's served by another former county employee who worked for both the planning department and the district, Jamie Anderson. She was one of our former watershed specialists. Very proud of this initiative. I've always been guided by some excellent directors appointed by county council. I could expound for a long time, but let me just mention just 3. The first one was J. Franklin Steyer. He earned a doctorate in botany from Penn State University and was one of the individuals that helped turn Kennett Square into the mushroom capital of the world. He was an individual that helped give me the opportunity to begin my career with the Delaware County Conservation District. Rosalie Pearsall, a staunch advocate for recycling. She was one of the key individuals that guided municipalities into implementing a county-wide recycling pilot program, served as a community liaison to the county. Pearsall was the chair of RICE for recycling into cash and energy. I also learned much from her about the protection of what has now become the John Hines Wildlife Refuge, which she worked tirelessly on as well. Ann Bates, she served as our chairman for many years. She traveled to the Conservation District State Association meetings with me and gave Delaware County a voice in conservation issues statewide. She advocated for the county to be part of the statewide agricultural land preservation program and assisted by enrolling her own farm and convincing Slayton Farm to also participate. The Chapter 102 compliance program has been our major workload item. We routinely for years, even while being the 3rd smallest county in size, we ranked in the top 20 in nearly all the workload areas tracked by the state. This while operating with a staff that is ranked in the bottom 20 in the state in terms of number of employees. It has been a pleasure serving the county of Delaware and its citizens for over 43 years, working as a team with county council, county administration, conservation district staff, and of course the guidance and support of the conservation district directors. We were able to meet with the tasks facing us, always while managing our expenses efficiently. I certainly wish the best for the continuation of the conservation district. I believe we are in a strong position financially, organizationally, and certainly poised for even better things moving forward. Thanks to everyone for the opportunity that was provided to me in the position of Conservation District Manager. The job is far from completed, but I can retire knowing that Delaware County has benefited from the work of the Conservation District and will continue to do so for many years. Thank you.
Thank you, Ed.
Look at that.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, you've made it very easy for me coming in because you do such an amazing job. You've done such an amazing, your body of work is just really amazing. And so I thank you for that. You really run a very steady ship here and your work speaks for itself.
My the theory on how I operate was always to make the people that employ me look as good as I can. And it wasn't really to focus on myself. So it's always been my goal no matter who was in charge of leadership, that they were in charge, and that was my job, to try to do the best I could without getting in trouble.
KPIs are awesome. So your key performance indicators, one of the things I asked when I came to the county, what are your key performance indicators showing your productivity, your high quality work? And you guys do an amazing amount of work with that small staff you have, from, just inspections, complaint responses, permit application reviews, and then education outreach collaboration. I mean, you have amazing numbers to show that you have a ton of stuff going on here. And it's just easy to be able to illustrate that. So thank you for making it so easy for me to be able to show how you're shining here. The work you're doing is amazing.
Thank you for
Thank you for sharing the history. I mean, the fact that you were here throughout the whole development of the Blue Route, that's really that interesting. And of course you worked for 3 years. Yeah. It's amazing.
I wasn't here for the first construction of the Blue Route when they made it, and 50 years later they developed it, but yeah, the whole 5 sections.
Over 100 inspections in 1 year.
A lot. Yeah, well, I'd even give me a hand cramp award from the state.
Shut down PennDOT for the first time, right? Or something.
Yeah, but that was, we had reporters out there, and there was collapse of the wall right into the Springton Reservoir, and a slope failure. And it basically was the fact that DEP reviewed the erosion control plan, and it was based on sequence and construction. And what happened is PennDOT was used to getting what they were, and they just didn't follow the sequence of construction. And so they had to put in, I think it was almost every section you looked at, we had to go through and update the ENS plan and put basins, sediment basin things in that weren't intended originally. So it was $60 million that the PennDOT was sued for just that work alone. Other contractors. But we got it built. The guy named Jeff Shawley, so everybody that doesn't know Jeff Shawley. Jeff Shawley was the regional engineer at the time, and he was right along with me and taking some of that abuse from the upper management to help me convince the state that they needed to do something. And we even got the director down here, who now works for PennDOT. He came down and when he saw what was happening, that's when the field order got started. So it was a big task.
Yeah. Big impact.
Do you have any words of wisdom for Karen? If you
Working with Karen and giving her my words of wisdom, and I didn't scare her off. I encouraged her.
Speaks to the wise person.
Yeah.
Seek your guidance.
Ed's been a really great mentor to me for the past 5.5 years. So
Awesome.
we're gonna be sad to lose him, but I feel like I'm gonna be set up for success by sitting with him and taking as much knowledge from him as I can. So
There's things that we can talk about, what we can do to address that, but I think Karen is not, just because she doesn't do the 102 program. I think that was one of the things I went to with Francine earlier, is that as for a strategic plan for the district, working with grants and doing watershed work, I think having the manager associated with that is an opportunity to double our efforts in the watershed special ed work that's there, and finding a way to address the permitting workload also. But I think we're in a position where we will be better off if we do that with the grants and stuff. And I think the county's doing that too with their grants and things that they have helping do special to help us find grants and to help apply for grants. So I think this will be opportunities that we can do with having 2 people just work on those issues.
We just released the road greener grants for, or greener plus or whatever they're calling it. And there were a lot of conservation districts that got really big grants. And I was like.
we did get a 160. Well, we didn't, but the county got a 167 planned grant.
I saw that.
Yeah. That's for the development of a countywide Act 167 plan for stormwater management and our watersheds. So it's exciting.
We do have a consultant that's supporting us now. So Millennium, I think is the name of the company. And so if you have any thoughts, please let me know and we can connect and get the support we need.
Yeah,
to
absolutely.
the application process.
Anything else to say?
It's back. You mentioned it earlier. I heard it earlier. I'm like, oh. Boiler.
Yeah, it's gonna.
It's kind of scary. When's the last time it was expected?
They're down there all the time.
Are they good? Okay, good.
That's about spoiler bit expensive.
Okay, good.
Thank you so much, Ed.
Well,
Need to get some solar over here.
There's so much
That space we carry. I don't like that.
Used to be louder, just like bang.
Be your first project here.
I don't know if the roof could support it, but we can try.
Yes. It's not one thing, it's a.
Oh, right.
Next up, conservation district staff.
Been a pleasure working on it.
Okay, I'll try to follow up. I don't have anything too specific to highlight in December. I wasn't here a lot. So that's why it's a little bit lighter of a, one reason or another, a little bit lighter, but one thing that I just wanted to highlight is that we did have a right to know request, for a project that's been ongoing for 13 years. So I started that in December, carried into January. So that took a little bit of time, probably January, but, that's listed on my report. But other than that, I have nothing to highlight. Anybody has questions?
What's the year break now?
It's the Sentinel Bridge Ravenscliff project, that's located down the street here on State Road in Marple Township. And, that it drains to a exceptional value watershed. So it is an individual movement, and it was done by 2 different developers. So.
The original owner of the property, like my nemesis, Don Cassidy.
Yeah.
He owned the property originally. That should have been the problem.
Okay.
And we do have another right to know request to be satisfied. It was, for the Clifton Heights Middle School. The Clifton Heights Middle School, they had a right to know request for that.
Yep, you're welcome. Yeah.
Okay, Laurie?
So, the only real thing I had to, really highlight, I had a couple of meetings. There was one week where we had like 4 complaints come in at once, I think. And they're all in varying, states of resolution. There's one that was a little bit of a trickier, but DEP is involved at this point. So they're should be on their way to getting the right permits for what they were trying to do. I got called in for jury duty and I didn't even get called in. They sent me in at home at 2. So, yeah, other than that, if anybody has any questions. So that. It's the first time. I'm 30 and I've never been called before. And I was like, all right, it'd be nice to at least get called back and maybe get some experience. But I was just sitting there for 6 hours.
Waiting.
Yeah.
Slice of life.
Yeah. And I got halfway through a whole book, so.
Excellent.
Mhm.
I have a question about something that was on the show, is actually notice of terminations, are those for NPDS permits?
Yes, yep, so any of the ones, listed that were denied or approved are for an MPS.
What reason do they get denied?
Initially, So for the two that are listed, one was for, paperwork wise administratively. So whether their as-built plans were not complete with all the, necessary information in the, checklist that DEP provides on the form. That's typically the first round, because we typically don't do an inspection on it until all the paperwork is lined up, so their forms are completed and their as-built plans are contain the necessary information. And then actually for the second one, it was denied a few months ago for paperwork. They resubmitted, it was complete, but there was issues in the field. So some of the typical things, areas aren't stabilized, they leave in their erosion sediment controls.
Like there was a lot of earth moving to the public works facility.
At Aston Township. Yeah, I think it was about a little over 3 acres. So it was the former Delphora waste treatment plant. Yeah, yeah. So that's
It was the Southwest Baldwin Run treatment plant.
yes, where they took out all the tanks, built it. Their office is still there. Yep, off of Gamble Way and continually. So it's a variety of reasons of why an NOT would be denied for a project.
Thank you.
Oh, sure, you're welcome.
Nothing too crazy. I've been working on the Clifton Heights Middle School project. I think they have to go to elevated review for their ENS control, but they've had some issues with compliance already, so along with the arsenic levels, they have that going for them. And Karen and I went on an inspection together in Chad's Ford for chapter 105, but ended up being nothing, but we did it. Yeah.
Now, the elevated review that Carmen talked about is a way to try to address the problems with technical deficiencies in an expedited fashion. So Friday, I got them convinced Mark Lonergan, who's the regional engineer, will help with erosion control mitigation or moderation. And Chris Smith will also be here to moderate on post-construction stormwater. Try to come to an agreement on how best to address the technical deficiencies and move the program. That'll happen Friday. It took a lot to get them to do an elevator. The state doesn't like to come out. It's part of the SOP, but it's not something the region likes to do. And they're down a person because John Hohenstein, who was the chiefs of that section, has fired. We do them ourselves.
Yeah, right,
Something
exactly.
when there's, contract.
Any comment? Thank you. Thank you. Next up is Karen Noble, watershed specialist.
Excuse me, so the bulk of my workload this past month was actually reviewing trees for watersheds grants. We got 6 reimbursement requests and 6 applications, which is more of both, I think, than we've ever had. So I was doing a little bit of hand holding for those projects. There were a couple of new applicants and just transition with staff in some of the organizations. So that took up a lot of time, but we have 12 projects for riparian buffer tree plantings, which is really exciting for that program. So that program is still going strong, and they rebranded it by calling it Trees for Watersheds. I think DCNR retired their Tree Vitalized program. I think they're doing something else with their tree planting work. So in conjunction with that, PHS decided to rebrand and do Trees for Watersheds. So really that took up the bulk amount of time, working on closing out the conservation trailer grant. That was a Growing Greener grant that we had to support the trailer. We had the trailer supported about 36 projects over the past 3 years over the 4 Southeast Pennsylvania counties, which is pretty good considering that every season, spring and fall are the busy seasons, and there were a lot more requests and we were able to satisfy. So, trailer was used at least 36 times for all types of projects, repairing buffer plantings, upland plantings, nature trail maintenance, rain garden plantings, maintenance. So it's still going strong too. Yeah, it's in good shape. Yep. So that is all that I wanted to share from my staff report. Was there any questions?
Do you have a Naaman's Marcus Hook Stony Creek Watershed Group meeting?
Yeah, I think it's the Clean Air Council, a couple for folks from there. They received a grant to do some work in Delaware County, including trying to get a watershed group started in those watersheds. So for anyone unfamiliar, we have CRC for the Chester Ridley From watersheds. They do a lot of tree planting on the ground, cleanup work. And then we have the Darby Creek Valley Association for the Darby and Cops watersheds. They do some on the ground work. They do a lot of outreach and education. And then the Naaman's, Marcus Hook and Stony Creeks, they're much smaller watersheds, but they do not have a nonprofit watershed group right now. There's a couple interested residents. And I think the Clean Air Council is trying to target those residents that have an interest in environmental quality in those areas and trying to get the ball rolling, building interest among those residents to pass on this idea of a watershed. So it's a long time coming. It's part of the Delaware River watershed plan.
Conservation
yes,
plan.
yeah.
2018 or a little bit more than that.
Maybe 2015.
Yeah, probably.
So that's exciting, and I hope, I'm happy to support that.
Was this meeting in December, just to talk with the.
It was like
council,
their very first.
with the residents?
Yeah, they opened up a public meeting. There weren't a ton of people, but I think they expected that, and they kind of just want to get the word out and share what they're trying to
That's
do.
like the Bethel, Upper Chi, Little Aston probably.
Yep.
Yeah,
Marcus.
and the watersheds themselves go into Delaware.
The Naaman
Naaman.
Creek does, yeah. The other ones go directly to the. That's exciting, and I hope that,
I hope it works.
yeah, me too. That would be great to have support down there.
Thank you for bringing that connection of folks to our Keep Delco Beautiful affiliation.
Oh, yeah.
You're participating in those meetings,
Yes.
Becca.
Yeah.
So that's what that's all about, basically, is working with all those different organizations and Keep Pennsylvania Beautiful to help us fund them, and work together.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Thank you.
We're an affiliate.
Yes.
Good.
I know if the chair will sign the check.
I feel your part. It should feel good. You're doing the way to go. Okay. So thanks, Karen. And now we need to look for you. It's for you. I don't know, they're hard to find.
I'll be happy to help them.
Any other comments or contributions? Just a perfect. It's a big way here. And, we hear from that and, now individual request and next meeting is February 6th. Anytime it says adjournment at 4:30. We want to.
Very good.
Make a motion to.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, thank you. And I'm sure everybody agrees.
Thank you, Randy.
Thanks, Randy.
Thanks,
I
Ed.
wish you were here.
Everybody, congratulations, Karen.
Thank you.
Resources, that's anything.
I can find out.
Okay. Just happened today.
There's a login on the ENS.
Yeah, you go to the DEP's ENS resources webpage, it asks for a login.
Is that only be what
Yeah.
they're pretty weird stuff
Things been
happening?
weird. Yeah, it's been weird, but like everybody's locked out, the list served, just started. Started. List served. Apparently we're not